Welcome to Lent. My name is Reverend Kim Wood, and I'm the Conference Minister for the Southeast Conference, United Church of Christ. This season, set aside for us to prepare for Christ's death and resurrection, has crept up on me this year. Even though Ash Wednesday, the beginning of our Lenten season, is on one of the latest dates possible on the calendar, it seems as if Epiphany began just a couple short weeks ago. This is often the case for me, I think, because Lent invites us into a hairpin turn, a major shift in our theological reflection and practices. In the rhythm of the church year, it's pegged as one of those times when we must become more reflective, somber, even dismal before God. It's as if we lower a misty veil over the church and will ourselves to become gloomy. But being gloomy or morose doesn't prepare us for what is before us when Holy Week rolls around. It may give us the socially accepted facade for Jesus' horrific death and his burial. But then what? Is that the thing for which we are preparing, or is it something more? I invite you to hear this reading from the traditions of the prophet Isaiah as translated in the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. Isaiah 58, 1 through 12. Shout out, do not hold back. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Announce to my people their rebellion, to the house of Jacob their sins. Yet day after day they seek me and delight to know my ways, as if they were a nation that practiced righteousness and did not forsake the ordinance of their God. They ask of me righteous judgments. They delight to draw near to God. Why do we fast, but you do not see? Why humble ourselves, but you do not notice? Look, you serve your own interest on your fast day and oppress all your workers. Look, you fast only to quarrel and to fight and to strike with a wicked fist. Such fasting as you do today will not make your voice heard on high. Is such the fast that I choose? A day to humble oneself? Is it to bow down the head like a bulrush and to lie in sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, a day acceptable to the Lord? Is not this the fast that I choose? To loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free and to break every yoke. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them and not to hide yourself from your own kin? Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly. Your vindicator shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry for help, and he will say, Here I am. If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your needs in parched places, and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters never fail. Your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. You shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the streets to live in. There is a lot of focus in our Lenten heritage on fasting. Some people do indeed choose to refrain from eating during Lent, generally on a specific day of the week. Others give something up for Lent, like chocolate or sweets or their daily Starbucks drive-thru or watching television or screen time. All of these acts are noble acts of challenging oneself to do without something of import, to sacrifice, to challenge oneself to be disciplined by suffering in some way. I've tried some of these sacrifices before. They've helped me to lose a little weight, to spend less frivolously, to read more or play with my kiddos more. All good things. I've often taken time to mull over how what I am giving up is something that many other people don't even have access to in the first place. And with all honesty, I've congratulated myself when my endurance has been strong and I've been able to go the distance, all the while yearning for Lent to be over, or one of what a friend often referred to as a cheat day to come along. For me, quite honestly, the result is not usually being better prepared to walk through with Christ his arrest and trial, his death and his burial, nor to receive more openly and faithfully God's ultimate gift of love in Jesus' resurrection. It's the win that I crossed the finish line at the end of the season. In more recent years of our Christian following lives, there has been a visible change in how many people approach Lent, one that moves us toward foundational preparation for what is yet to come on Holy Week, a nudge toward transformative change, both for self and for others. We often act like this is a new trend, but we see in this text from the 58th chapter of Isaiah that it is no such thing. In fact, God is pretty clear. Is this not the fast I choose? To loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover them and not to hide yourself from your own kin? If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday. Wow, that is incredible. This is the stuff God says will make us like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose waters never fail. This is the stuff that serving God through Jesus Christ is made of. During this season of Lent, we will be talking about ways we can fast with acts of abundance, how we can live into community through these acts of abundance. Your Southeast Conference staff team hopes you'll join us each week as we explore how we can reset Lent this year to be keenly in step with God's expectation that we engage in acts that are life-giving, born out of God's own abundant gifts to us and Christ's footsteps of compassion, hospitality, humility, and love. Thank you for beginning our exploration with me today. Please be sure to share this link with a friend or two and invite them to share Lent with us. And thank you for all the ways you support the Southeast Conference United Church of Christ. This opportunity to be together is made possible through our OCWM dollars. This is our church's wider mission at work, your church's wider mission at work. Shalom.